Alright, so this is my like third time trying to record this because it keeps timing out and saying I need to reconnect, so I'm gonna get straight to the point. I started smoking when I was 15 years old, so like 5 years ago, and I had only smoked for a short amount of time. I hear there's like a hysteria period when you first start smoking for some people, that they just always freak out no matter what. But I've been smoking for like 3 months, and during that 3 months, most of the highs were good, but about 3 of them were the psychotic, highs that I'm about to explain. It's the reason why I don't smoke weed anymore. It's like playing Russian roulette. It's not worth it for me, because even though most of the times can be great, if even one of those times, if I have to experience another episode like I have already, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because these episodes have kind of increased my likelihood of panic attacks, kind of induced my panic disorder, because I had a few panic attacks before smoking marijuana, but afterward, every night now I struggle with it. Every night is, am I gonna have an anxiety attack, blah blah. And whenever I feel like a hint of derealization or depersonalization, I start to panic. I start to freak out. I don't like feeling like I'm not here because, well, for the reasons I'm about to explain. So the last incident, the one that was the deciding factor for me, was when I was at a bowling alley with my friends when I was either 15 or 16, and let's see, I had smoked all day. It was, I don't know, I got it from my friend. It was apparently different stuff that I smoked later that induced this craziness. It was not laced, because no one else had this kind of reaction. We went behind the building, we smoked, and I was in the bathroom about 10 or 20 minutes after that, and everything just was not the way it should be. It sent me into a different kind of reality. Like, this kind of creeps up on you in the way that it takes about 10 or 20 minutes to hit you, but when it hits you, it's just like that. It just comes on, and you can't do anything. So I was in the bathroom, and I got up. The second I got up is when reality changed. I was not here. I was not in this reality. I was not in this dimension. It's like, we as humans are supposed to, we're built for this dimension, this reality. Our brains are built for this reality. We grew up in this reality. When we are sent so quickly into a different reality, we don't know how to comprehend it, or at least I don't. So my brain in the third dimension was sent to like the fourth, fifth, sixth, I don't know, dimension. And it's so hard to describe. You can't grasp it unless you've been there. And that's why I'm not happy to read when people have gone through this, or see when people have gone through this, but I'm glad that someone understands, because when I talk about it, I feel like a crazy person. So this happened in the bathroom. I stood up and it hit me. I tried to smack water on my face. I knew what was coming. I knew I was going to freak out, but I tried to control it as much as I could. But believe it or not, it's very hard to control yourself when you are not in your body. I walked back to the table where my friends were sitting, and I looked at my friend and I said, through tunnel vision, literally, I am back here. My body is here. And my body is not a part of me anymore. It's so weird. I can't feel a thing. I mean, I can feel, okay, let's say I put my arm up. I know my arm is being put up, but I feel it like 5 seconds later. It's like a delayed response. And it is the creepiest thing ever. I begin to feel like I'm on autopilot. Like, whatever I think, I will do, because I'm not in direct control of my body. Like, I am separate. So even talking about it freaks me out, so it's so hard for me to talk about this, but I feel like it's therapy. So I tell my friend, what's about to happen. I go, call my sister, because I can't call my mom because I'm 15 or 16 years old, and this has happened before. So I get my phone out, and I can barely do anything, so I just hand it to someone else, and I go, call my sister, blah, blah, blah. They get my sister on the phone, and they put her on with me, and when she talks in my ear, it's like I hear it, but I comprehend it a few, like, seconds later, like 5-10 seconds later. And by that time, I'm so confused as to why I'm hearing it but not comprehending it, that I go, oh my god, what's going on? At that point, a thought went through my head that was really psychotic, and like, these things I don't think about on a regular basis, but a thought popped into my head that said, what if you went over there and grabbed a knife from that kitchen over there and stabbed someone? So I thought it, so I felt my body, I felt like my body was going to do that, was going to run over there and do that, because I was in complete panic mode. I was just, my breathing was just fast, my heart was beating so fast. I was not with myself. You know, the reality inside my head was completely different, and people were like assuring me, you know, you're here with us, we can feel you, we can touch you, you're here. But I said, what you guys don't understand is that I'm not here. My mind is gone. You know, it's very different to be physically here. My body may be here, but whatever the reality is in my mind is my own reality. And if I were trapped in this forever, that would be my reality, and I could not function normally. So I tried to explain that, but of course at the time things were just happening so fast but so slowly at the same time. So at that point, when I had that nasty thought, I ran outside as fast as I could to keep myself from hurting someone, and I started screaming, you know, call an ambulance. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, just so fearful, so scared, and the thoughts going through my head were, this is never going to end. I can't stand one more second of this. And sure enough, like, second by second went by, and it was just, every second was just excruciatingly long. It's time goes so differently when you're tripping, when you're like this. So I started screaming, call the ambulance, I'm dying, like, I am dying. And I started shoving my finger down my throat, gagging myself, and throwing up everywhere. And even though I knew, like, marijuana goes into your bloodstream, there's nothing that you can do by throwing up, you know, but it was that impulse to get something out of my body. It wasn't even the marijuana anymore. It was like the feeling that I was feeling. It was like being possessed or something. I wanted to get whatever was inside my body, that was inhabiting my body, that wasn't me. I wanted it out. So I just threw up everything that I could, and yeah, before I knew it, my mom was standing outside watching me, and I didn't even know anyone called her. I guess she just showed up, and I looked up, and I was like, oh shit, you know? And that's the point, you know, when your parent comes to you and they're pissed, you know, you can come back to reality a bit and be like, shit, I'm in trouble. But at that point, I was like 1% shit, I'm in trouble, and like 99% I'm still tripping out. I'm not gonna come back from this. So I tried to explain to her, you can be mad at me, but right now is not the time, because I need someone to bring me back. And eventually, you know, I did come back, but it was a very slow process. That was a very slow sobering up, if you will. All the other times I had freaked out, I sobered up like that, you know, because I hadn't taken much. It would be like someone would shotgun, you know, purple whatever into my mouth, and I'd trip out for like 30 minutes and then be fine. But this took about the whole night. I went home and I sat on the couch, and I was still not there. Like, I could close my eyes and I'd still be wherever I was in the universe that, you know, was not directly here. So I just never want to experience anything like that again. It's like your head is floating away from you. And if you can enjoy that feeling, more power to you. And if you can function with that feeling, more power to you. But I definitely know I can't. And it's definitely where a lot of my panic has sprouted. and it still affects me to this day at 20 years old. So now I can have panic attacks without being high, but feeling like I'm high. And that's super fun. So I suggest, if you haven't smoked marijuana yet and you have panic disorder, actually, scratch that. Because I know a few people who have panic disorder who smoke and it makes it better. But just be careful, that's all I'm saying. If you don't like feeling like the world is not the world, don't do it.